there is loss at some point.
Yeah, that's true. Whether it's the loss of a job, a loved one, or dealing with an unexpected serious illness, we don't do grieving very well in our culture. But there are healthy and effective ways to grieve and to come to terms with loss. UW Health Distinguished Psychologist Shilagh Mirgain is back with us. Hi, Shilagh. Good to see you.
Oh, it's great to be back.
So this is something no one can avoid. It'll happen to all of us at some point.
Losing a job, losing a loved one.
So what are the benefits of doing grief work or learning some of these strategies?
Absolutely. Unresolved grief can cause complications like sleep disturbance or appetite disturbance. It kind of dampens our life energy, and our relationships suffer. And as you said, we don't tend to do grief very well. When people are coming into my office and you kind of go through what they're going through, often at the root of it is unresolved grief. So I want to talk about some simple strategies people can use to really do some grief work so you move through it. I think grief is like a river. You don't want to shove it away and dam it up, or you don't want to freeze by numbing out. Instead, you want to flow through it and in the process really transform yourself.
6 stages of grief.
Yes, so when people are experiencing a loss, they go through some typical stages. The first one is denial or disbelief, saying this can't be happening to me, and this is actually the mind protecting ourselves against having to process it all at once. The second stage then is anger. We feel like, why is this happening to me? This shouldn't be happening to me, and that's kind of our response to that pain, and there can be that blame. The next stage is bargaining. We start to make deals. Maybe this will go away if only I'm a better person or give more money to charity. And in this stage, there often is some guilt around the should-haves, could-haves, if onlys. And then we often go into depression, where we start to feel some sadness around the loss, and that's often a time where the tears flow. All of which goes to acceptance, where we're ready to move forward with our life, integrating what has just happened. And there's actually a sixth stage that I think is very interesting that can really help people with grief, and that's making meaning. That despite what I went through, there's something I can make of this. There's some good I can do as a result of it, or make a difference or help others.
In order to heal through a loss, do you have to go through all 6 of the stages? Is it a process, or can you get to acceptance? Is there a shortcut?
I wish there was a shortcut, but yeah, I think you're right that people don't go through it in a linear fashion, and some people will skip certain stages. Everyone's unique, and it's their own process. But there are 3 things I want to mention that can really help people flow through, like the river, through those stages. The first is to just carve out some time to feel. Feel that anger, feel that sadness, feel that guilt. That allows you to start to flow through it. Second, use journaling. You can write out your thoughts or feelings. You can even write a letter to the person you lost, and even write a letter back from that person to you if it's a death. And think about writing with your non-dominant hand, because that allows you to tap into other parts of your brain.
Oh, that's
and then the
interesting.
third thing is just self-care. Eat well, sleep well, surround yourself with supportive people. Get professional help if you need to. If you find yourself so stuck in a rut or overwhelmed with guilt, don't be afraid of talking to a psychologist or even clergy member.
What would you say to a friend who's going through this, suffering loss? What do you say? What can you say? What shouldn't you say?
Oh, that's a great question. First, don't say, oh, you'll get over it, or, there's a reason this happened, or even compare a loss that you had to theirs. Instead, there are a few effective things you can say. First, you could say, I'm so sorry you're going through this. What can I do to help? I'm here for you. I care about you. Second, if it's a death, share some memories you have about that loved one who's passed away. And lastly, just saying, I'll keep you in my thoughts, or I'll keep you in my prayers if that's appropriate to you. That kind of language can really provide comfort to people. And they're going through grief, and also a sense of hope that they're not having to go through it alone.
Yeah, we all have to go through it at some point.
We do.
Good advice, Shilagh. Thank you for the tips.
Thank you.